Lotad Sweep. Adjective. Definition: to beat the entirety of a Pokemon game with only a single Lotad. Source: I made it up. Lotad in the entire Pokedex is the Pokemon with the 28th lowest base stat total, but in my heart, he will always be number 1. Since Lotad is so strong, I wanted to see if it was possible to beat the entirety of Pokemon Emerald with only a single Lotad. But there are a few ground rules. Rule number 1, no items of any sort in battle. Rule number 2, no EV training. Rule number 3, win. So without further ado, let's watch Lotad sweep all of Pokemon Emerald. To start off, I of course named my character CKaden, got kicked out of the back of a moving truck, and then went to help Professor Birch north of the town. From his briefcase, I grabbed Lotad and then struggled against the rabid Zigzagoon since I only knew Astonish. I then went back to the lab and named my Lotad since I didn't like that the game was yelling at me all the time. I beat May on Route 103 and then headed west to Petalburg City. In Petalburg City, I went into the gym where I was then forced to help Wally catch his Ralts. After helping Wally, I made my way through Petalburg Woods and grabbed the TM for Bullet Seed from some random kid. I proceeded to wipe the trainers on Route 104 and made my way into Rustboro City. I grabbed the Quick Claw and the HM for Cut from random townspeople and then was ready to fight Roxanne. The fight against Roxanne was about as hard as you would think for a water and grass type. Roxanne's first Geodude easily fell to 1 Bullet Seed. Next was another Geodude who befell the same fate. Lastly, Roxanne sent out her ace, Nosepass, who tanked a few moves but eventually fell to Lotad's Seed. I got the Stone Badge from her, the TM for Rock Tomb, and then moved on. I went east of Rustboro, where I helped Mr. Briny recover his darling Pico from Team Aqua. He was of course eternally grateful, so he then asked me to meet him in his cabin, which scared me a little bit. I got there and him and Pico were playing tag or something, but then he allowed me to sail with him to Dewford. In Dewford, I grabbed the old rod from some random fisherman after seeing Mr. Briny use his old rod in the boat. I then headed west into Granite Cave where I grabbed the Everstone, which is great because Lotad is perfect just the way he is. Afterward, I talked to Steven who uselessly gave me the TM for Steel Wing. After painstakingly exiting the cave, it was time to fight Brawley. I first tried Brawley at level 22 and the fight was not even close. So, I grinded and returned at level 25 and tried again. Still, at level 25, Brawley's Makuhita was way too strong. So, I left and grinded to level 30. I returned to the gym and tried once again. I easily took out his Machop with a mixture of Absorb and Nature Power, which, indoors, turns into Swift. Next came out his Meditite, who only uses Focus Punch. Since Machop left me with a little damage, I used this Meditite to heal back to full with Absorb. Last was his Makuhita, who I damaged a little with Nature Power, flinched once with Astonish, and then finished off with a Bullet Seed. After the fight, Brawley gave me the Knuckle Badge, the TM for Bulk Up, and a fear of Makuhitas in the years to come. I then sailed east with Mr. Briny to Slateport City, where I wiped out all the trainers on the beach. I even got some Soda Pop, which was pretty cool. Afterwards, I helped deliver the Devon goods to Captain Stern after clearing out Team Agma from the museum. After the shenanigans in Slateport were over, I cleared out the trainers north of the route, did the Trick House's first puzzle, and then fought May on the bridge. I then entered Mauville City, where I fought Wally who was sulking in front of the gym. Afterwards, since Lotad had still yet to learn a water move, I fought every available trainer around Mauville to get some levels and prepare for the gym. Before starting the fight, I equipped Lotad with a Cherry Berry since Watson's Magneton will almost always try to paralyze me with Thunder Wave. I also went ahead and taught Lotad Thief so that when my Cherry Berry is consumed, I can steal the Citrus Berry from Watson's Manectric. Now, it was time to fight Watson. Turn 1, I set up a Rain Dance since Lotad's ability is Rain Dish and it would allow me to have residual recovery during the fight. Afterwards, his Voltorb was easily knocked out with 2 Mega Drains. Next came Electrike, who got knocked out by 2 Nature Powers. Next was Magneton, who tried to paralyze me but my Cherry Berry got activated. Against Magneton, my strongest move was Mega Drain, which is still resisted, so I spammed it until Magneton was eventually defeated. Finally came Manectric, whose Citrus Berry I stole with Thief, and then I knocked it out with 2 more Mega Drains. After the fight, Watson gave me the Dynamo Badge and the TM for Shockwave. With Watson defeated, I was now able to head north of Mauville City. I cleared the trainers out on Route 112 and made my way to Fall Arbor Town. Fall Arbor Town was pretty boring, so I headed southwest where some Aqua Grunts were stirring trouble over a meteorite. I dealt with that situation, then headed back since the path to Mount Chimney had just opened up. On top of Mount Chimney, the Magma Grunts and Maxie were honestly a piece of cake, so I wiped them out and then headed down to Lava Ridge Town, where the 4th gym was awaiting me. At this point in the game, though I was level 45, I still had access to no water moves, so the fight against Torkoal was not going to be fun. Regardless, it was time to fight Flannery. Turn 1 against Flannery, I one-shot her Numble with Return because my Lotad loves me so much. Next came out Slugma, who befell the same fate. Next came out Camerupt, who I set up Rain Dance against, and then used Return twice to knock out. Last, and certainly not least, was Torkoal. I reset Rain against Torkoal and chipped him down eventually with Return until death, earning me the gym badge and the TM for Overheat. Upon exiting the gym, May gave me some gunners that would allow me to withstand the sand in the desert, but I didn't care. Now, it was time to head back to Pelleberg City and do the fight that I had been dreading most of this run. I cleared out every single room in the gym and prepared to fight my dad, Norman. Before the fight, I equipped Lotad with the Chesto Berry, since his slacking likes to spam yawn. Here goes nothing. First, Norman sends out his Spinda, who annoyingly spams Teeter Dance, but it is eventually knocked out by a Mega Drain and a Return. Next comes Vigoroth, who falls to 2 returns. After Vigoroth is Linoon, who scarily knows Belly Drum. Thankfully, it goes for Headbutt instead and is knocked out by 2 returns. Last is by far the biggest threat, Norman's Slacking. I use a combination of Mega Drain and Healing from Rain to stall out his damage from Facade and eventually claim the victory. After the fight, I get the Balance Badge and the TM for Facade. After defeating my father Norman, I am confronted by Wally's dad, who gives me the HM for Surf, my first water move. The next large portion of the game is what makes these games controversial among game reviewers: water. Thankfully, all the trainers in the water have water-type Pokemon, so I'm able to easily sweep through all of them with my Mega Drain. I surf all the way back to Slateport, trek up to Mauville, and then surf east of Mauville and make my way to the Weather Institute. The fight against the grunts in the Weather Institute are easy, and then I get a cast form from the head scientist. This cast form would otherwise be useless to us, but it is holding a Mystic Water, which boosts my power of Surf by 10%. I do an easy fight against May, get the HM for Fly, clear out some more trainers, and then teach Lotad the Ice Beam TM that I got from the abandoned ship. Winona may be a flying type gym leader, but she stands no chance against my Lotad with Ice Beam. Winona leads off with a Swablu, who easily fell to 1 Ice Beam. Next was Pelipper, who fell to a Rain Boosted Surf and then an Ice Beam. After Pelipper came Skarmory, who fell easily to 1 Rain Boosted Surf. After Pelipper, I put Tropius's Bananas in the freezer, and then was Altaria. Altaria followed in the footsteps of her daughter Swablu by being one-shot by an Ice Beam. I got the Feather Badge and the TM for Aerial Ace, and moved on. With the 6th gym complete, I went and did a few side things before progressing in the story. First, I headed to Lily Cove, where I fought May in front of the department store, and then bought the TM for Blizzard from a clerk. After doing that, I went south and got the Giga Drain TM from a random lady standing near some berry trees. I then went north and cleared out all of Mount Pyre, where I learned that Team Magma and Aqua had taken both the blue and red orb. This angered me greatly, so I went to have a word with Team Magma in their hideout south of Mount Chimney. I navigated Magma's hideout until I found Maxie, who awoke Groudon, causing him to flee. Somehow this was my fault, apparently, so Maxie got mad at me and forced me into a fight, but the battle was pretty easy. After defeating Maxie, I then flew to Slateport, where Archie stole this poor scientist submarine. He told me not to track him back to the Aqua hideout, but of course I did. I navigated Aqua's hideout, found the Master Ball, and then Archie fled from me again. Now, I had access to Moss Deep City, so I cleared out all the trainers in the water and made my way over there. With my Master Ball in hand, I caught a random Magikarp so that I would have a second Pokemon to fight Tate and Liza with. I entered the gym and got ready to battle. Turn 1, Xatu one-shot my beloved Magikarp with a Psychic, but I revenge killed it with 1 Ice Beam. They then sent out a Lunatone, and I set up a Rain Dance, both for recovery and to make my Surfs do more damage. I clicked Surf, one-shotting the Claydol and bringing Lunatone to about 1/3 HP. Solrock came out, and I one-shot the Solrock with Surf and brought the Lunatone down even more. Now it was just Lotad versus Lunatone, and it eventually fell to Surf. I got the Mind Badge and the TM for Calm Mind before leaving the gym. I helped Steven fight Team Magma at the Space Center, where he did nothing but set up Light Screen and Reflect, and then he gave me the HM for Dive. I dove down into the water, found the submarine that Archie stole, and tracked him down. He got mad at me, just like Maxie, but the fight against him was still easy. Afterwards, Kyogre fled and the weather outside was looking pretty frightful. Archie and Maxie argued about who was worse, but I didn't care as I hated them both equally, so I just left and headed to Setopolis. When I got to Setopolis, Kyogre and Groudon were just kind of staring at each other, so I was ordered to go find the green Space Noodle at Sky Pillar to calm them down. I found Rayquaza and he fled. Somehow, I flew back to Setopolis on the back of my Wingull faster than Rayquaza got there, but I then watched him raise his voice a little bit at the 2 kids, which caused them to calm down. Everybody thanked me for saving the world or something, but I was only interested in fighting Hoenn, who led off with a Love Disc that fell to 1 Giga Drain. This was followed in rapid succession by Celio and Whiscash. Next was Kingdra, who I painfully Giga Drained down until it fainted. Last was Crawdaunt, who I outsped and took out in one Giga Drain. I got the Rain Badge and the TM for Water Pulse that I probably should have gotten over 40 levels ago. Since I now had the 8th Gym Badge, I was able to use the Waterfall HM I got from Wallace outside of battle. I headed east, where I ascended the Evergrande Waterfall and entered Victory Road. Upon entering Victory Road, I fought Wally and beat him pretty easily. I proceeded to make my way through the rest of Victory Road pretty easily with the help of a few repels. I ended Victory Road with my Lotad at level 76. I painstakingly had to grind to level 87 on the low-leveled Pokemon in Victory Road. Now, in Pokemon Emerald, there are 15 available rare candies to get, of which I had 13. So, I grinded all the way from level 76 to 87, then boosted all the way from 87 to level 100 with rare candies. Lotad was now in peak form to fight the Elite Four. First up was the Dark-type member of the Elite Four, Sydney. Turn 1, I set up a Rain Dance against his Mightyena and then proceeded to knock it out with the Rain-boosted Surf. Absol came out next, who fainted the exact same way. Next was Shiftry, who fainted in just one Ice Beam. Cacturne followed suit. Finally was his Crawdaunt, who I took out in just one Giga Drain. The first member of the Elite Four, Sydney, had been defeated. After Sydney came the Ghost-type user of the Elite Four, Phoebe. Turn 1, she leads off with the Dusclops, who always clicks Protect, allowing me a free turn to set up a Rain Dance. The following turn, I took out the Dusclops in just one Surf. After Dusclops came Banette, who also fainted in just one Surf. The same happened with Sableye, and Phoebe's second Banette. My turn to Rain expired just as she sent out the last Dusclops, so I took it out with a combination of an Ice Beam and a Surf, defeating the second Elite Four member, Phoebe. Glacia, the Ice-type user, was the third member. Before the fight, I replaced my Mystic Water on Lotad with a Cherry Berry so that the Body Slam from Celio cannot paralyze me. Turn 1, I set up a Rain Dance so that my Surfs later in the battle could one-shot Glalie. Unfortunately, Celio countered by setting up a Hail, so I had to set up Rain Dance again. Celio Body Slammed me, activating my Cherry Berry. Then I knocked out Celio with a Giga Drain. After Celio came Glalie, who fell to one Surf. Next was Celio number 2, who befell the same fate as the first. Glalie number 2 came out, who fell the same way as the first Glalie. Last was Walrein, who I surfed as to not put it in potion range, and then Giga Drained to finish it off. Oh, also, did I mention that I did this fight from my toilet? It was just that easy. The fourth and final member of the Elite Four was the Dragon-type user Drake. Turn 1, since Shelgon always protects, I set up a Surf for residual recovery during the fight. The next turn, I took it out in one Ice Beam. Following Shelgon came Altaria, who fell to a quad-effective Ice Beam. Next came Kingdra, who in past runs was a problem, but I got a lucky crit with Giga Drain to knock it out in one turn. Flygon fell to one quad-effective Ice Beam, and so did Drake's ace, Salamence. Drake had been easily defeated. With all Elite Four members defeated, the last obstacle was the champion, Wallace. I equipped Lotad with a Petra Berry in order to tank a Toxic from the Tentacruel. I also taught Lotad Return in the place of Rain Dance, since not only does his Wailord set up Rain Dance for us, but I also need a way of knocking out the Tentacruel in 2 hits. With all of the prep work done, I healed up, restored some PP, and then headed to fight Wallace. Turn 1 against Wallace, I clicked Return so that I did not knock out Wailord. Wailord then kindly sets up Rain for us, and is knocked out by a Giga Drain. Tentacruel comes out next. I click Return to damage Tentacruel while he clicks Toxic, activating my Petra Berry and canceling the poison. One more return takes out the Tentacruel. Next was the Melodic, who fell after I spammed Giga Drain while it spammed Recover. Next was this horrendous monster called Ludicolo or something. Why would you ever evolve the perfect Lotad into something so ugly as Ludicolo? I knew I had to decimate this thing, just for the sole reason that it exists in front of me. Ludicolo fell in 2 returns, since my Lotad loves me more than a Ludicolo ever would. After Ludicolo, Wallace sent out Whiscash, who easily fell to a quad-effective Giga Drain. Last, and certainly not least, was Gyarados, who knows Dragon Dance. Since Gyarados has Intimidate, my only chance of knocking it out is by landing 2 70% accurate Blizzards in a row. I hit the first one, bringing it down to about half HP. I missed the second one, but luckily Gyarados just kept spamming Earthquake. My third and final Blizzard landed, taking out Wallace's last Pokemon, Gyarados. After defeating Wallace, Lotad had now entered the Hall of Fame, not only in my heart, but also in-game. But, as any Pokemon fan knows, Wallace is not at all the last obstacle of the run. Steven Stone is. Located in Meteor Falls, Steven's Pokemon are very high level 70s compared to Wallace's wimpy mid 50s. The fight against Steven was possible, but the sheer luck I needed to pull it off was insane. So, for hours, and I mean hours, I grinded run after run after run of Steven until landing upon the best possible luck I could get. First, I needed Skarmory to not attack 2 turns in a row. This meant Skarmory either clicked Spikes twice, clicked Spikes once and missed a Toxic, or I crit it turn 1. Luckily, Surf has a 76% chance of knocking out Skarmory in 2 turns. I hit the first Surf while Skarmory set up Spikes, and then got a lucky 20% Quick Claw proc to knock it out with the second Surf. Against his next Pokemon, Armaldo, I needed to not get crit while I set up Rain Dance, and then proceed to knock it out with a Rain Boosted Surf. Next is Claydol, who annoyingly sets up Light Screen and Protect. But on this run, I got a very lucky crit to surpass the Light Screen, leaving me at full HP while his scariest Pokemon, Metagross, comes out next. This was the only attempt out of hundreds where I fight his Metagross with full HP. Unfortunately for this run, Rain expired the turn Metagross came out, so not even a Surf crit would knock it out. So, I needed to land a Blizzard, freeze the Metagross, have it stay frozen while I set up a Rain Dance, and then somehow hit it with a crit Surf to knock it out. I don't want to know the odds of this happening, but I know they are not low. I think I have to go for the freeze here because Light Screen is up anyways, so like, okay, please freeze, please, I beg you, please, I beg you, please, please, please. Oh my god, oh my god, okay, 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 please don't thaw. Oh my god, oh my god. The light screen wore off? Okay. 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 Please stay frozen. Crit, 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 crit. Oh my god! Oh my god. 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 It's happening. Following Metagross was an Aggron who was easily taken out in 1 Surf, and then a Cradilly I had to land 2 Blizzards on to knock out. After hundreds of attempts, and a bunch of hours, I had finally defeated Steven and solidified Lotad's spot as the greatest Pokemon of all time. That's all. If you liked the video, feel free to subscribe, leave a like, and I go live pretty much 7 days a week over on twitch.tv, so check me out there. Yeah. Peace.